Welcome to another episode of the Less is More Sports podcast. Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to my co-hosts, Klucas and Mari, for holding it down last week in my absence. Boys, y'all killed it. But don't worry, I'm back again for another episode. We got a jam-packed episode today, mostly dominated by the great sport of basketball because, in my opinion, the best time of year is here. There is nothing better than college basketball, and I'm so glad it's back. There's a lot we could talk about with college basketball. Given the hectic offseason that we had, I knew there was going to be a lot of upsets early on. It was an unconventional offseason. Of course, your teams that were heavily reliant on freshmen aren't going to be able to get the normal offseason reps. So, the early upset with Richmond and Kentucky doesn't really surprise me as much. You had Wisconsin go down yesterday, so it started.
What?
You didn't know Wisconsin went down yesterday? Yeah.
No, I did not. When I got home from work, I went right
off a tip in at the buzzer.
Yeah, dude, it was definitely watching. It was wild.
Oh,
but
wow.
Anyways, I think where I'm going with this, I think
and that's funny because Mari was just asking about Wisconsin, who almost picked them to win the Big Ten.
Oh, I saw that last week I saw that on last week's podcast. Yeah, I was listening to the podcast all week just to see what you all said, and we'll touch in a little bit about your all's predictions later on in the podcast. But no, I want to say we're gonna start with some of our early thoughts on the way too early college basketball season. I wanted to go ahead and get the upset thing out of the way because I think that really should have been expected. So, would anyone like to share their opinions first?
I'll go ahead. I think to me, there's no clear-cut best team in the country just yet. I think every team has a weakness at some point or at one point. I don't think there's a clear-cut best team. And with saying that, I don't think there's a clear-cut national champion favorite right now. You can't come straight out and say, I would say this team's the favorite to win the championship. Like, there's no clear-cut favorite to me. Like, you have your years of, like, your Zion Williamson and Duke where you can say, all right, that's probably your clear-cut. Or the Karl Anthony Towns Kentucky team where you say, all right, that's probably the clear-cut favorite right now. There's no clear-cut favorite to me for a national championship or even for the country. I don't think it's Gonzaga because, like Maury said, the same thing I think they do every single year. They're going to run through the regular season, probably lose to St. Mary's one time, and then they're going to get to the postseason and lose in the Sweet 16 Elite Eight.
I don't know. There's something about this Gonzaga team that's different. They have the most talented recruit in program history in Jalen Suggs, who I absolutely love. Not only just the way he plays, the energy he brings. I'm watching the game against Kansas, and, he's deflecting passes, even if they're not resulting in steals. He's going down, slapping the floor, getting in defenders' face. I love the energy he brings. And one thing that impresses me a lot about Gonzaga is not just how well Jalen Suggs is, not just how good Drew Timmy's been, which still surprises me to this day that you never heard of this guy until this season, as much as you and I follow recruiting. But what impresses me, it stood out to me about Gonzaga so far, it's how well they move the basketball. The ball movements you can tell they're just in sync and well coached. Which you expect that with a Mark Few coach team. But also, when Jalen Suggs went down against West Virginia, it looked a lot worse than it was. I was hoping it wasn't going to be anything serious. It ended up just being just a sprain, and he ended up returning in the game later. But West Virginia goes out to the lead. Jalen Suggs gets hurt. Andrew Nembhard steps up, who's been playing off the bench for them. And for them to be able to have a point guard off your bench like Andrew Nembhard, who was a very good recruit when he was coming out of Montverde. I don't know, a lot of people don't remember that he played on the same Montverde national championship team with R.J. Barrett and his teammate last year, Philip Petrusev. So for them to come out and get production from a backup point guard when your star goes out, it speaks a lot of volumes.
I mean, I agree, but I just think at some point something's going to catch up for Gonzaga. I just don't. I could see them running into like it's not an upset. It's not really an upset, but like I could see them running into Kansas again later in the year, or Kentucky, or North Carolina, or somebody like that in the Sweet 16, Elite Eight, and losing.
To your credit, I do understand what you're saying because what we see from Gonzaga every year is their non-conference schedule is usually pretty tough. But once they get the conference schedule, they have so many consecutive weeks of not really playing a competitive team up to their talent level. So by the time they get to the tournament, they've gone so long without playing, a team that can match them talent for talent, and it hurts them. So I get that standpoint, but I'm just saying based on what we see now, and I'm more or less touching on your statement of I don't think there's a clear-cut number one. I think Gonzaga is definitely the clear-cut number one right now. Now, could that be subject to change once they get into conference play and they go so many consecutive weeks of not playing competitive teams? Then, yeah, I could definitely subject to change. But as of right now, they are, in my opinion, they are the best team in the country. I don't think anybody's playing better. We would definitely know more if the Gonzaga-Baylor game wasn't canceled today due to the COVID outbreak within the Bears program.
Yeah, we were robbed of a great game tonight.
Yeah, we were. And
other two things that I had on my thoughts, unlike the what I think is for the clear-cut national favorite for national champion, I think right now, and I think going forward, I think we can all agree, Luka Garza is the clear-cut heavy favorite to win the Player of the Year.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, he was a finalist last year. He actually narrowly lost to Obi Toppin. He's come out and he's had 30 points in the first half twice already. Like it's ridiculous. I mean, he's off to a great start, and he'd have to have a catastrophic meltdown for him to really lose the momentum he's gained already, even in the early parts of the season.
And then the last thing I had, I know this is kind of like a bold, like not a bold statement. It's kind of it's a statement that everybody knows, but I think towards this season more than any, due to the fact there's no fans, there's no, really, you're not playing in front of a home crowd. Every game is pretty much you're walking into like a practice gym basically because there's nobody else there. Coaching matters this year. You're going to see who the great coaches of college basketball are because you're not going into hostile environments. You're not going in, you're pretty much going in on an even playing field. So we're going to see who can coach and who can't really this year.
Mari, you've been awful quiet. I know you got plenty to say, at least about U of L, about your Cards.
Yeah, my bad. I'm fucking dude. I in a whole nother zone. I really just pretty much all I said last week about Louisville kind of like just stays the same. I do think Carlick Jones or David Johnson is going to be in that top 5, maybe top 3 of ACC Player of the Year. I saw a post that said David Johnson was in the top 50. What's it called?
The Wooden Watch.
Yeah, the Wooden Watch. And as a non-biased Louisville fan, I feel like that's bullshit because he's, in my opinion, he's played like hot shit the last 3 games. I don't know if that has something to do with him being nervous or he like I don't know how the all season worked for half these schools. I keep hearing that half these schools didn't really get a chance to practice, didn't get a chance to fill each other out. I believe I don't look at it as an excuse just because you can't tell me 4 months these coaches didn't held some secret practices or something like that, something of that nature. I do agree with Klucas saying it's all about coaching this year, but what I'm not looking forward to is all these excuses saying, "Oh, if there was a crowd there, oh, if there was wow, they practiced enough during the offseason." Like, no. Quote Klucas again last week. I don't agree with the statement with Kentucky winning the national championship, but I do think this brings out the best in all these players. There's no fans. To me, it's like a game of 21 out there. It's a game of 21 with a time limit. So I think for the first time in a while, the best team this season will win the national championship. Depending on if there's fans in the national championship. I personally don't think they are. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a small bubble. But yeah, this season's going to bring out the best in everybody, in my opinion. This is a game. It's a game of street ball this year.
You know, I've heard the term like it's like an AAU matchup, or it's reminiscent of like your early days of AAU. But no, I think that's definitely the first 21 in street ball reference I've heard describing the college basketball or even pro basketball scene with no fans.
I mean, that's how I look at it because that just brings out the best, in my opinion. Like nobody, don't crowds there to distract you. I will say this, even though it's funny, I don't look at Richmond beating Kentucky as an upset. I do look at it as a tough defeat, but I wouldn't call it an upset. Upset is somebody like you're fucking like light years better than. Like you in NBC Virginia, that's an upset. But I'm hyped for the season. I don't see much hype surrounding like this season amongst fans. But to me, like you said at the start of the show, this is the best time of the year. Like it fucking
You're not really
hype.
seeing the hype. You're not really seeing the hype from much fans just because there is no fans at the game. So when you can't go to the game, a lot of people don't really care about college basketball because they're not getting to go to the game. They don't want to cheer from home. They want to cheer at the game.
Yeah, but you gotta.
That's an issue, and
That's when you separate the casual fans from the diehard fans.
Yep,
exactly. Because watching, first of all, I would love to say Louisville can compete for ACC title this year, but we don't have a fucking big right now. And we are, when we get to like the teeth of our conference schedule, like we are fucked beyond fucked. Don't get me wrong, I believe AJ Trainer and all them, but Gahan's walking in the game and then walking out 8 minutes later with like 4 fouls in the first half. Now, I know Enoch had that problem when he first came to Louisville, but we got to rely on you got to rely on Egon. Got to do our thing. Other than that, I don't know how you motherfuckers are guarding Carlick Jones this year.
I want to touch on, before you continue, I want to touch on something you just said. Because you're not the only Louisville source that I've seen this from. But I'm going to be completely honest. When I was a sports writer for the Sentinel News, I covered a lot of games where I saw J.J. Traynor play when he was at Bardstown. I'm going to be completely honest. I look at his build. I look at his athletic ability, and I definitely see potential there. So I don't want anyone to take me wrong here. Or if you do, screw it. If you do, whatever. I don't get the hype or excitement around J.J. Traynor. I mean, when I covered him, he was going into – the first time I saw J.J. Traynor play, he was going into his senior season at Bardstown. It was at this summer basketball event that Collins and Shelby County were hosting called the Titan Rocket Shootout. It was a event where 64 teams across the state of Kentucky, plus some from Indiana, Tennessee, and even a Calvary Christian team from Florida was there. An opportunity for these teams to play in front of over 150 college coaches and scouts to get them looked at in ways that maybe they wouldn't have been looked at before. And his first game was against Shelby County, and Shelby County had absolutely no size to box out Traynor or anything. and he still struggled to score. He then would later in the tournament go on to play Collins, so I saw him play again. I think he still had about single digits, and that was really with Davion McKnight, who ended up winning Mr. Basketball, and Marcellus Vail, who's now playing at Samford. But they're both guards, and they were essentially guarding him and boxing him out, and he still struggled to get looks around the rim. He did play when I saw him playing the King of the Bluegrass. He did put up a lot better numbers, but I think if Spencer was on the show, he would agree with you. It really wasn't. The numbers were deceiving because a lot of that was off offensive rebounds and putbacks that he's going to be able to get at this level due to his height and length and athletic ability that he's not going to be able to get in college. So when I guess trainer, I see somebody with, the build and the athletic ability to potentially be a good player. I just don't see the hype yet. He's very, very raw in a lot of ways.
So I'm gonna touch on something real quick. So what I was always taught growing up, and so playing basketball all my life, what I was always taught growing up, it's not about how tall or how big you are when it comes to playing down low. Yeah, being tall and being big it's definitely a plus being you're playing down low. But it's not about how tall or big you are when you play down low. It's about what you have right here. It's all about your heart. You want to go down there, play down low, out rebound everybody and all that, no matter what your size is, you can do it. Because you could have those guys like Davion and them that, are shorter than JJ Trainer. But if they got the heart to say, I can go down there and out rebound him still, they're going to do everything that they can to do it, which, to your point, they did. It's all about what you have in here. It's not about what necessarily always your physical abilities are.
But that's essentially where I'm going, though, is that he's got the physical tools that where if he did have
he's got to get it in here. Because if he gets it in here with the physical abilities that he's been given, then the sky's the limit.
Exactly.
He's got to figure this out first.
And given his physical attributes at the high school level in Kentucky in the KHSAA, he didn't necessarily have to play with a lot of heart to get what he wanted, if that makes any sense. But in the college level, yeah, you're definitely
in the state of Kentucky, when you're that size and everything, you should easily be grabbing almost double doubles every night.
Which he did his senior season.
So, but it shouldn't be a struggle, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It should just come easy.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree 100%. But I will say this, though, Mari, to touch on your Cardinals, one person that's really been quite a surprise for you all is Dre Davis. And
we're more hyped about Davis than fucking Trainer.
I will say was Davis. Well, here's the thing. I was looking at a tweet from Rashawn Myers, who's also I've worked alongside at Big X Radio during an internship, and absolutely great guy. Little bit of a Louisville homer, but I think he'll even admit that. So I don't think he'll be too mad at me for saying this on the air. Don't think he'll even care. But either way. But he tweeted out earlier in the week that about how Louisville fans were very disappointed when they didn't come up with DJ Stewart or they didn't recruit Caleb Love at North Carolina. And he said, honestly, I wouldn't trade either one of them for Dre Davis right now. And I'm like, with how Davis is playing, I can understand why you're saying that. But
he's also trying to be loyal to his players, you know what I mean?
I know. It's definitely a fan being loyal to his player. Maybe it's me being a Duke fan being loyal to DJ Stewart, who just threw down a nasty poster on Bellarmine last night. Not sure if y'all saw it, but it's a pretty nice play.
All I'm worried about this year is I don't care if we don't beat Kentucky. I don't care if Kentucky beats us by 50. As long as somebody crosses Devin Askew or dunks on Devin Askew or even cracks Devin Askew or even slit his fucking tire before he gets to the game, I'll be straight.
You are very aggressive. That is very aggressive.
He needs to get dunked, crossed up, something.
You are so salty about a kid making a decision that is best for him.
I wouldn't care if he went anywhere else in the country if he decommitted from Louisville. But
So
if
what
you
if he went to Florida State?
okay, that's different. They might have to catch his hands from me instead. But like, bro.
So I just want you to listen as to what he's saying. That he's mad that he went to a certain place that was better for him, and that he could have chose anywhere else, and he would have been fine.
I know, right?
What other situation? What other situation does that sound like?
I mean,
Just
sounds
take
like
a look at his background.
I mean, Klucas has a point, Maury. I mean, we all know I'm not a Kentucky fan either.
Nah. It's different. Devin committed to us. All right.
Okay, you see that all the time.
He
was under contract, and yes, he was at OKC. So technically, it's the same. He's under contract with OKC. He was committed to OKC at the time.
Free agent. All right, he was a free agent,
and he chose us, and he chose the destination for him, and went there.
Look, I don't give a fuck.
And me and everybody else said, well, he could have gone anywhere else, and it would have been fine. And now here's Maury, 6 years later, saying the same thing about a basketball recruit.
Don't matter. Okay, whatever. I'll contradict myself, but to prove my point, he could have went anywhere else. If he would have went to UNC or Duke or fucking, he could have went to Bellarmine or fucking I can't name school, Gonzaga or some shit. I wouldn't have given a fuck. But why go to the rival school, bro? Like, why? Knowing that, well, he probably didn't even give a fuck.
What was even funnier was that he did it like after 2 weeks after taking his visit to Louisville.
Yeah, that's the thing. And first of all, Josh Nickelberry, if you see this shit, please transfer. Do something. Because I think you played 10 minutes in the Louisville uniform and you got a broken foot. The fuck you been doing outside? And then got the audacity to take a snap of you doing some cheerleading shit. Fuck out of here. Anyways.
Well, God forbid he broke his foot, Maury. Jesus, I'm sure he doesn't want to have a broken foot either.
I don't give a fuck. It's the principle, all right? Every time I look at this man's snap story, right? It's always something like the commentators be like, oh, Josh is real hurt. Josh is this, Josh is that. I don't know what the NCAA does when it comes to social media, but on Josh's snap, the man is doing backflips, doing cartwheels. Remember that shit ready? You did the Mark Henry when he RKO'd him? I don't know what it's called. That's why I can't think of it. That jump he did where he touched his legs, he's doing shit like that. And I'm like, this nigga don't look injured to me. Nigga look completely fucking healthy. Now,
God forbid he's having fun.
Back to my point. Oh yeah, Devin was in. I think I was in Louisville around this time. He was in Louisville, like Klucas said. He was in the dorms.
I remember. You showed me the snap.
Okay, yeah, he was doing shit like that. He was fucking just doing his thing. I remember seeing a live feed of him saying he loves the city. And I'm assuming he meant he loves the city of, I guess he doesn't know Kentucky is a state. So I guess he just loves, I guess he meant to say he loves the state of Kentucky. And like Klucas said, about a week and a half later, I get that.
Well, the funny thing was he was on that live feed that he's talking about. He said on that live feed, I can't remember who he was on with. He had said on that live feed, which is what got everybody hyped, because I remember seeing it on the Cardinal Connect. He said, yeah, this is where I want to come. This is where I'm going to go.
It makes you wonder.
2 weeks later, committed to the University of Kentucky.
Makes you wonder what happened in those 2 weeks.
Exactly. Like,
did the return of Katina Powell happen and we not know about it? And then she offered him one of those strippers, and it was just not his standard. He's like, no, we gotta go.
He said, LOL, Kentucky strippers are hotter.
I want to know. I would love to be in those rooms. This is a career I'd love to have. If broadcast didn't work for me, I would love to be like an assistant coach or some shit. But I would love to be in that room when they got the news that Devin decommitted. And I know the other recruits that we've had decommit over the last couple months ain't it's bad, but like not like it didn't really make us like want to riot like it did with Devin. Like these recruits didn't fucking didn't tell us, hey, I want to be here. But yeah, when I see Devin, he's catching the fade. Especially if they don't beat us this year. Oh yeah, he's really catching the fade. If Kentucky don't finish this season in top 5, Devin's catching the fade. It's like what's his face? What's Dev got his name? Trevor Purdy. He catching the fade. I'm going to Tallahassee when Louisville play them in baseball. He catching the fade. Everybody this is a PSA. Everybody's catching a fucking fade. If you decommit from Louisville to go to a rival school, you are catching the fade. What rival schools am I talking about? I'll tell you. The fucking Kentucky Wildcats and the bum-ass Florida States. You go to those schools.
The same Florida State that this man picked to win the ACC and the Final Four pick for last year.
I'm talking about any fucking sport in general. We could be calm about tennis. Let me catch.
So in other news, if you are a Louisville recruit watching this podcast, do not decommit from Louisville and go to a rival school that Maury hates because he will punch you apparently. But I want to touch on a couple things because we talked a lot about how Louisville looks, and we're going to get to – I'm going to let Klucas give his spiel about his teams, Kentucky and Ohio State, how they look so far in college basketball. Before I let Klucas go on his spiel, I do want to give a major shout-out because Maury touched on it a little bit. Well, briefly, unintentionally, and that is another local school here in the Louisville area. Bellarmine University made history by playing their first game in Division I in last night's matchup against Duke. So major accomplishment for the Knights, and congratulations to Coach Scotty Davenport for officially cracking the Division I barrier. But without further ado, I know Klucas has plenty to say about his Kentucky Wildcats and his Ohio State Buckeyes. So without further ado, how they looking this year? What are your thoughts?
Oh, Kentucky. The Maury can say what he wants about the no excuse, but it's definitely hurting not having an off season. When you don't have a single player on the team currently right now because with Keon Brooks being hurt, when you don't have a single player playing right now that was not on the roster last year, and you had an off season like this where there was no exhibition games, there really was no time to gel, it hurts. Now, this we all know. This is not going to be the same Kentucky team we see in the tournament. This is going to take, just like Cal said, this is going to be a longer process for them to gel. It's going to take a little longer than what the irrational Kentucky fans to understand. This is going to be a longer process. Now, I'm not saying that this team is going to lose 12, 14 games. No, but they're going to lose early. And as weird as this sounds, I'm all for it. Lose now, learn what it's like to lose now, and learn from it. If you get Keon Brooks back, you finally take Devin Askew out of the starting lineup and put Davion Mintz in there because he is right now the better guard. And you make those adjustments, Kentucky will be fine come towards the end of January, February, and going into March. I am, but I'm not concerned about Kentucky. Ohio State, on the other hand, man, they're even without Seth Towns, this team is grooving. They're good, but unfortunately, this is exactly how they started out last year. Started out really good last year, and they hit the wall. And I think hopefully by the time Seth Towns comes back, if they're grooving right now, he can keep them from hitting that wall. I'm really liking what I see from EJ Liddell. Having CJ as my point guard obviously is huge. As a senior guard. So I'm.
Did we just lose Klucas for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just lost. Yeah, we lost Klucas for a second. You good, Klucas? Well, I think my co-host is
I'm really
having.
confused.
Yeah, I think you're having a little bit of connection issues. You had just started talking about Ohio State and even with the loss of Seth Towns, and then you kind of started cutting out.
All right, we'll copy that. So I'll start all over then. They're grooving right now without Seth Towns. But unfortunately, kind of like last year, this is how they played last year. They were grooving and then they hit a wall. Completely just hit a wall. And I'm hoping by the time they can continue this groove, and by the time that, like this time last year, where they would have started to hit that wall when Seth Towns comes back, he can prevent them from hitting that wall. This Ohio State team can compete for Big Ten title. I'm not going to say they're going to compete for a national title, but they can push for a Sweet 16 Elite 8 run, potentially. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from E.J. Liddell. He gives me hope that when Seth Towns comes back, that I have a great second option scorer. If Seth Towns is having an off day, I can rely on E.J. Liddell to help pick up the slack. And then it also helps having a senior point guard in C.J. Walker. And after watching last night, watching that Marquette game last night, I do miss DJ Cardon. He was kind of the heart and soul of that Buckeyes run last year. I would have loved to have him for the immediate future. But I'm happy to get Seth Towns back, or whenever he comes back, I'll be happy. That's a 15 to 20 point per game scorer that comes back. So I'll feel a lot better about Ohio State basketball when Seth Towns comes back.
I'll start off with Kentucky because I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched Ohio State play a lot, so I'm probably not going to have as much of an expert opinion on them. But, when I watch Kentucky, I see a lot of similarities to when I watch Duke. And a lot, and you touched on it, I think took the words right out of my mouth and touched on it. Anytime you're a Duke in Kentucky where you are a freshman-dominated team, and in Kentucky's case, even with 3 grad transfers that weren't on the team last year, when you don't have a conventional offseason, you don't give a lot of reps with these players to play together. So the learning process, as you touched on, is going to be a lot longer this go-around than it is in previous years when you have a normal offseason. When I'm watching Kentucky, I see a lot of similarities from when I'm watching Duke. I think both teams play hard. I think both teams can defend really well. I really like one player that has surprised me for Kentucky is that Isaiah Jackson forward. I think he's become I really like the way he runs the floor, protects the rim, rebounds the ball. Kind of went under the radar for me as far as a recruit because I didn't think he would make this kind of impact right away. The only issue I've really been seeing with Kentucky, and it's not anything like you said to really be concerned about. They're not hitting shots right now. But when you have guys like B.J. Boston, you have guys like Terrence Clark, Davion Mintz is a capable scorer, Olivier Sarr. That's the more reps they get together, the shots will start falling. And that's very similar to Duke. Now, granted, Duke is in a similar situation in Kentucky, but we do have several guys that returned. Matt Hurts, Wendell Moore, Jordan Goldwire, Joey Baker all played on last year's team. Matt Hurts has had a very good last 2 games, scoring over 20 and 10. Wendell Moore has been quite a disappointment. I think he scored a combined 4 points in his last 2 games. And this was one of our key recruits from a season ago, and he returning for his sophomore year. Goldwire, you know what you're going to get, energy player out of him. But much like Kentucky, Duke's dominated by freshmen. But the thing I've noticed about them so far is nothing – even their flaws aren't really long-term concerning flaws for me because they played – even in the loss to Michigan State, they played hard. They defended well. Shots didn't fall. That's what it came down to. Up until the final minute of the game, Duke was sub 30% shooting from the field and sub 20% shooting from beyond the three-point line. And only lost by 6 to the number 8 team in the country. We have a very talented freshman class with Jalen Johnson, DJ Stewart, Jeremy Roach, and last night against Bellarmine, I was glad to see Mark Williams start to get more minutes. Of course, a lot of that has to do with that he's been dealing with nagging lower body injuries, so he's kind of been put on a minutes restriction so that he can still get some reps, but not enough to where he's going to re-aggravate it. So he played about 15 minutes last night against Bellarmine, which is the most he's played all season, and came away with 4 blocks and about 7-8 rebounds. So the more minutes he's going to be able to get, that's going to help Duke's interior defense as the season progresses. But another issue and Kentucky's in the same boat as well. I mean, freshman turnovers, when majority of your turnovers are being made by freshman players, you expect that to improve as the season goes on. So when it comes to Duke and Kentucky, I see 2 teams in a very similar scenario where even their flaws right now aren't too concerning.
Well, we're kind of in the same boat. I'm trying to think about it. I don't think we have a junior or senior on our roster next to Carlet. Oh, no, we do. I'm sorry. We have one more. Other than that, he's just injured. Other than that, we just have, like, freshmen and sophomores. With more freshmen, another great class coming in next season.
Okay.
All right. So let's move to the professional level of that sport.
Are we done with college? Nothing else to say about the college?
I'm going to ask you, Wes, who's your ACC top 4 this year?
My ACC top 4? Do you want me to – I guess I can go down the line since I wasn't on the show last week and give real quick. I won't go into as much detail as you all did, but I'll give real quick my thoughts on each conference. I'll go my ACC team. Mari, I won't go 4. I know Klucas wants to go, transition to the NBA, and we do have to move kind of quickly with this episode. So my ACC team of the year, I agree with Klucas. I think Duke's going to end up winning the ACC. Our first regular season conference title since 2010. I think the more this team gels and the more they can actually just get reps with one another, I think they're going to get better and better as the season goes on. And even when they've played absolutely terrible, they've still even kept it competitive, even with a good team in Michigan State. My ACC player of the year, I hate to do it, but if I had to go just off preseason, I probably would have gone with the Hauser twin at Virginia. I think he's a very good player. I didn't get the hype on Garrison Brooks coming at North Carolina, especially when he's going to be one of 4 big men down in Chapel Hill. So, yeah. My newcomer of the year, this is where I disagree with Klucas. I think it is going to be Jalen Johnson. I think he is the most talented freshman in the ACC, and I think he's going to show that throughout the course of the season. I love Scotty Barnes. I think Scotty Barnes is great, but I'm going to go Jalen Johnson on that. The Big Ten, who has, at the moment, 4 to 5 teams in the top 10, 3 teams in the top 5. As of right now, look to be the deepest conference in college basketball. I'm going to go with Sparty to win the Big Ten. And Big Ten Player of the Year is definitely – I think it's going to be the Player of the Year, and that's Luka Garza. Big Ten Freshman of the Year, kind of torn on it, to be completely honest. Haven't really given it a lot of thought, so I don't know if you all want to remind me who you all picked for Big Ten.
I just said newcomer, so it could have been a freshman. It could have been somebody that's just now entering the conference.
Oh, you said newcomer, then definitely the other Hauser brother at Michigan State. That's who I would preseason pick to be the newcomer of the year. The SEC, I think it's Kentucky's to lose. Nobody really stands out to me. I think Florida could make it interesting. However, I will say SEC Player of the Year, I'm going to give it to Keontae Johnson, that forward out of Florida. I think he's a baller, and I think he's going to have more responsibility on his shoulders than any one individual at Kentucky if Florida's going to make a run. Newcomer of the year, I'm going to go Terrence Clark. I think he's my favorite recruit on this Kentucky class. I just love the kid's game, love his athleticism, and he's still growing as a player. Say the Pac-12. I'm going to go with Arizona State, Bobby Hurley's well-coached Bobby Hurley team. Absolutely love their backcourt. I loved Josh Christopher in high school. I still, from time to time, watch his Ball His Life mixtapes. Very entertaining, energetic player with a lot of talent. So it's gonna be a very Sun Devil-esque preseason pick for me because I think the player of the year is going to be their point guard Remy Martin, and their newcomer of the year is going to be Josh Christopher, in my opinion.
Ooh, over Evan Mobley?
Yes. I think Evan Mobley, I was torn on it, but I think the way Christopher and Martin play off of each other, I think Christopher is going to get a lot easier looks. But I get what you're saying. Evan Mobley is the most talented freshman in the Pac-12, and he already looks to be off to a good start. So, but no, I'm going to say Josh Christopher is my newcomer of the year. The Big 12. I'm going to say it's Baylor. I really like the way Baylor revamped their defense a year ago, switching to the no middle defense. They have my preseason player of the year in the Big 12 and Jared Butler, who I actually tweeted out and got a really weird response about somebody eating peaches in the dark while soaking wet. I didn't understand it at all, but you can check Twitter if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I said Jared Butler reminds me a lot of Jimmy Butler, and coming from a Heat fan, that is a lot to be said. There's a lot to be said for that. Newcomer of the year, I'm going to go with the Texas Tech Red Raiders and say Mac McClung. He's already off to a good start and a very good player. That's very good pickup for the Red Raiders in the offseason. When ACC, Big 10, SEC, Pac-12, Big 12. I think I got them all.
Mac McClung over Cade Cunningham?
I'm going to be honest. Cade Cunningham is a very good player.
I know you don't like Cade Cunningham.
I never said that at all. What is it with you not understanding my points? I think I have to speak very slowly when I make these points to you because I like Cade Cunningham. I think he's a very good player. My thing is, I don't think he's this generational talent that he's made out to be on recruiting sites and by sports media. That was my statement. But no, I was torn between McClung and Cunningham, but I think McClung's slight experience in college basketball gives him the edge for me on that one. When I'm watching Cade, I think he's playing well, putting up good numbers, making good decisions out there, but he's just so stagnant at times. I don't like the way I don't like his aggressiveness on offense at this early in his college basketball career. But yeah, if it was freshman of the year, I would if your topic was freshman of the year, I would definitely agree it's Cade Cunningham. I think he is the most talented freshman in the Big 12. But I will say my sleeper team, my Texas Longhorns, especially after winning the Maui Invitational Tournament over Spencer's Carolina Tar Heels. And shout out to Spencer on the stat that I posted on Twitter earlier this week. The Longhorns have won 9 out of the last 10 matchups with North Carolina. They are the Heels' kryptonite. And the one common trend with Texas in the Shaka Smart era, they can defend with the best of them, but they don't have consistency scoring the ball. They're not like a Virginia that will make you play to their tempo. They'll play to your tempo while defending, and that's just been a recipe for disaster. But they look good so far. Hopefully they can keep it up. So that's what I got. And player of the year, player of the year, I think it's Luka Garza. That's pretty much what I got. So is that quick enough for you, Klucas, so that we can get transition to the NBA game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so transitioning to the NBA. Season is less than 2 weeks away, so we're going to give our preview on the 2020-2021 NBA season. So, boys, how do you want to do this? Do you want to go award predictions first, standing predictions, or what?
I want to go standings predictions because I got some hot takes.
That's fine. I'm here for it.
One of them Mari thinks is an extreme hot take. I don't think it's a hot take. But
Me and Klucas had like an hour argument about this at like 2 a.m.
Well, let's not have an hour argument about it on the show because we got to get through everything. We got to get through everything as quick as possible.
all right, so Starting with the Eastern Conference, I think the Bucks still finish number one in the East. I think they finish anywhere between 60 to 58 wins. They replace Eric Bledsoe with Drew Holiday. They're a great regular season team. I don't think they struggle throughout the regular season. I think they just pick up where they left off. Two, I have the Brooklyn Nets finishing second in the East. Obviously, you get KD and Kyrie back. You add Jeff Green. You add guys like Bruce Brown in trades with Detroit. You bring back Joe Harris. Brooklyn will be second in the East. Third, I have the Celtics. You get that backup point guard you needed with Jeff T. You got Tristan Thompson for your center position. You add the shooting with Aaron Naismith. Boston is still going to be one of the top dogs in the East. Four, I have the Miami Heat. Only real roster change was adding Precious Achiuwa, obviously, in the draft, and you lost Jay Crowder. So outside of that, I have Miami finishing fourth as the reigning Eastern Conference champions. Five, I have the Toronto Raptors. Absolutely no roster change. They're as consistent as they come. To me, they're the not so dominant, obviously, of like the San Antonio Spurs of the East. They're not dominant, they're not flashy, but they're consistently good. They're gonna be there always. Six, I have the Philadelphia 76ers. You add Tyrese Maxey, you add Seth Curry, you add Dwight Howard. Still got questions on what kind of lineups they're gonna throw out. Do they need to trade Tobias Harris? Is Simmons and Embiid going to get along to get together? So I have them finishing sixth. Seven, this one's for more so less. Seven, I had the Atlanta Hawks.
I'm sure. I knew this was coming.
You add Danilo Gallinari, you add Bogdan Bogdanovic, you add Onyeka Okongwu, you add Rondo, you add Chris Dunn. They have an all-offensive starting lineup with an all-defensive second unit. I do question maybe some of these lineups that they're potentially throwing out there, which I do understand at the same time. I've seen several different potential starting lineups for Atlanta. I'm not really sure which one I necessarily like the most. And number 8, and this is where my hot take begins. Number 8, I have the Indiana Pacers. And why I say it's a hot take is because Maury thinks that just because Russell Westbrook goes to the Washington Wizards, that they are an instant playoff team.
No.
I got the Pacers. Victor Oladipo is still with the Indiana Pacers. From what everybody's stating that I never said that I wanted to be traded. Whatever the case may be, he's still with the Pacers. You're still going to roll lineups of Malcolm Brogdon, Oladipo, TJ Warren, Sabonis, and Miles Turner. That's still a very good starting five. The Pacers are going to be right there in the playoffs. 9, the Washington Wizards side looking in. For the playoffs, I have the Orlando Magic right behind them. Then I go just kind of going through the non-playoff teams real quickly. So I have Washington, Orlando. Then I have the Charlotte Hornets finishing 11, the Cavaliers finishing 12, the Bulls 13, the Pistons 14, and I have the New York Knicks finishing last in the Eastern Conference.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought I had a little.
Just because Russell Westbrook going to the Washington Wizards, who was the worst defensive team in the NBA last year, and you lost one of the best defensive point guards in the NBA, and you're adding a guy that doesn't play defense really, and I just don't see how that makes them any better than what they already were.
Any team Westbrook goes to is an automatic playoff contender. You cannot fucking debate that.
Yes, you can. Contender. He hasn't gotten past the second round. That was this year.
And all I said was he's making the playoffs, Les. I didn't say he's going to go to the conference finals.
You said
he's been given a playoff roster. It's not like he's gone to the New York Knicks and turned them into a playoff contender. He was left. He was left. Katie left.
His worst roster in OKC, he had Victor Oladipo as a sidekick. He doesn't have a Victor Oladipo, depending on what Bradley Beal does. If Bradley Beal decides to bounce, he's got nobody helping him.
I'm sorry. Even with Bradley Beal, it's not a playoff team. They're first of all, you got too young of a team, no defense. No, I'm sorry. You don't have a true big man. No true big man, no defense, no bench. The Washington Wizards are not a playoff team. They're not better than the Pacers. They're not better than the Hawks. They're not better than the 76ers. They're not better than the Raptors. Not better than Boston. Not better than Brooklyn. And not better than Milwaukee. And I almost said Orlando was better than them still, with the addition of Cole Anthony.
I would say Orlando is better than them with the addition of Cole Anthony. Orlando was a playoff team last year, and now you add Cole Anthony.
The Wizards are making the playoffs. Mark my motherfucking words. Unless, since Klucas didn't want to fucking do it, I'll bet you a box of Grippos that the Wizards make the playoffs.
All right. So you want me to get you a box of Grippos if they make the playoffs? So what's in it for me?
I'll release a diss track for you.
Oh my. All right, we ain't going to talk about that. We are not going to talk about that. No, sir. Anyway, so Mari, since you're very animated, I want to hear your 8 standings in the Eastern Conference.
Well, here's the thing. I wasn't interested in making a standing. I was more interested in listening to y'all's and countering y'all's. And the only thing I want to counter from Klucas is –
I haven't even gone yet. If you know mine, I'm very impressed.
It's really, to me, it's just the Hawks and the Pacers. Yes, I do think the Hawks, Pacers, Wizards, I'll add Magic in there. Those 4 are all going to be vying for that, 6 to 8 seed spot. I think the top 5 is in the East is pretty much sealed.
I think the top 6 in the East is sealed.
Yeah, in my opinion, top 5 is sealed. And I think what I would switch up, I wouldn't make Milwaukee number 1. I see why people do. Don't get me wrong; they are a dominant regular season team, but I would still put Brooklyn number 1
because of your.
I'm only putting Brooklyn number 2 behind Milwaukee is because I feel like I always said we all know the Bucks are a great regular season team, but I think in the early goings of the season, it's still going to take time for KD and Kyrie to gel together. And I think that could potentially equal a couple of losses early, which could spell for towards the end of the year. I have Brooklyn winning anywhere between 55 to 57 games this year, which is only 2 games away from Milwaukee from what I projected.
Yeah,
So I'm saying a couple losses here and there could keep them from being the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
If you think that's a hot take, then I guess you are in for a treat with my standings. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I know. He's got Miami Heat number 1, Miami Heat number 2, Miami Heat number 3.
Saying is Milwaukee is, I think the shit, my voice cracked hard. I think that
I'm just glad you didn't call.
With the rumors about Giannis leaving, I think that would cause a distraction for the team throughout the year. I think throughout the year you're gonna see frustration between the team because of that shit. That's why I think they won't finish 1. I think they're gonna be probably like every other week. I'm pretty sure you're gonna see, hey Giannis, what you doing for the off season? So that's why I don't think they finish 1. They'll probably finish they'll finish in that top 5 for sure. I just won't have them number 1. To me, it'll go Brooklyn, Boston, then maybe the Bucks. I think I'm forgetting somebody.
All right, let's hear Les's since he has some hot takes on his.
All right. I'll start from the bottom up. Number 8, and this is where it starts. The hot takes are off the bat. I have the Charlotte Hornets at the 8th spot. I think this is one of the best off seasons Michael Jordan has had as a GM. You draft, in my opinion, the Rookie of the Year in LaMelo Ball, and you sign Gordon Hayward in the offseason, which I think this lineup actually favors more Gordon Hayward to get back to a closer role to what we saw in Utah. I thought the wing position was way too crowded in Boston for him to really gel and shine. So, not to mention he had a compound fracture his first game with the Celtics. That never really helps. Along with the addition of those 2, I think Devontae Graham continues to come back and have a good year. I like the way they drafted even past LaMelo. I like them picking up Nick Richards and Vernon Carey. I think are going to be quality role players in their rookie seasons. So I think they're a sleeper team to make the 8th spot. Number 7, I have the Orlando Magic. They were a playoff team last year. They add Cole Anthony, who I'm very high on, giving me another scoring option behind Vucevic. Yeah, I like them at 7. And this is where you all are going to really hate me, and I don't give a shit. Number 6, I have the Brooklyn Nets. Look, here's the thing. If KD was not coming off an Achilles injury, I'd have more confidence. But that is a very tough injury to come back from. If anyone can do it, it's Kevin Durant given his play style. But I don't know what I'm getting out of him. Kyrie, if he's healthy, has shown that he can't lead a team. So if he plays, I don't think he makes them any better at all. Top it off, how are Kyrie and KD going to play together? They proved me wrong, but I don't know how it's going to work. So I'm going to play it safe and put him at number 6. Number 5, actually exactly like Klucas. Actually, this is where I agree with Klucas. It's the Toronto Raptors. Like you said, they're not going to beat you with flash, but they're going to be consistently good. Have them at that 5 spot. Number 4, I have the Boston Celtics. They lose Gordon Hayward. They didn't really address their need at the big man position. I'll be wrong. I think they could still make a run in the postseason, but I think from a regular season standpoint, I still think they're going to have their struggles. I like the draft of Aaron Naismith a lot. I don't like the draft of Peyton Pritchard at all. I think that was stupid. But I think alluded to what you all said, the top 6 positions in the East are pretty much a lock. We know who it's going to be, so it really could be interchangeable between those 6. So just because I have the Celtics as low as 4 doesn't mean I don't think they can make a deep playoff run. We saw what Miami did in the postseason this year. Number 3, I have the Milwaukee Bucks. I think Drew Holiday is an upgrade over Eric Bledsoe, but I think they lost a lot of depth, and that was one of the things that made them such a great regular season team. When Giannis would get extra rests in some games or whatever or what have you, they could go to their bench and get production out of him. Not so much this year. Have them at number 3. Number 2, I have the Philadelphia 76ers. I think they added a lot of floor spacing in the offseason to go around Simmons and Embiid. Added a new coach in Doc Rivers, who I think is a very good coach. I think they jump up to the number 2 spot. And the number 1 team I have in the Eastern Conference?
The New York Knicks.
No. My Miami Heat. Was it a little bit of a homer pick? 10%. Here's why. The other 90%, here's why. Short turnaround. They're still high off momentum from the championship run. Still pissed off. They kept the same core group of guys from the championship run from a year ago. Yeah, we lose Jay Crowder, lose Derrick Jones Jr., brought in Avery Bradley and Mo Harkless, guys that can do pretty much essentially the same things as them, like the draft of Precious Achiuwa. But yeah, I think they're riding high off momentum to where they're going to get off to a good enough start to maintain that number 1 overall seed in the Eastern Conference.
I don't really see a hot take on any of that. Maury will disagree, but I didn't really see a hot take in it.
Well, I thought for sure when I said Brooklyn at 6, I thought you were going to be like, because I had.
I mean, I would say just because. I mean, yes, I agree. We don't know how KD's going to come back in place. We can't necessarily say he's going to come back to dominant fashion, back to the second best player in the world type guy. We can't say that for a fact. But assuming, I wouldn't say they go any lower than 4, in my opinion.
I have them at 6 just because of all the question marks I have. I think the first 5 I pretty much know what we're going to get out of them. Brooklyn's that team that obviously has the talent to be a top 2 seed in the East, but I don't know what we're going to get out of them.
So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the West, because if I let Maury talk about yours, he's going to be going on for an hour, and we don't have that kind of time.
We don't.
Your standings were good, then I probably wouldn't go on for an hour.
So let's go.
You didn't even make a
Western
standings.
Conference. Ooh, that's true. So Western Conference. This one, since it's such a competitive West, would you like me to start 15-1 or 1-15?
Damn, I'm surprised you're going 15. I just went 1-8.
I went 15 on both.
Oh, look at you, you overachiever. You know what?
I'm
Go 15-1 because we already know who one's going to be. So just get.
I'm just scrolling. I'm just scrolling through. Just easing through trying to hurry through the non-playoff teams. So, 15 Oklahoma City Thunder. They have 52 first-round picks via all these trades they've made. If anybody watches YouTube and knows who Kenny King of the Fourth Quarter is and watches his stuff on NBA 2K, my man Sam Presti in Oklahoma City is getting assets and flipping them because that's exactly what he's doing. Any asset he gets, he's flipping it for somehow a first-round pick. My man finessed Ricky Rubio for a first-round pick. How in the hell you get a first-round pick for Ricky Rubio? I don't know. But he's going to have 52 first-round picks. He's probably going to end up with all 30 first-round picks in one of these drafts at some point. So I have OKC rebuild mode. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is, really the only piece that's left. Chris Paul, Steven Adams, Danilo Gallinari, Dennis Schroeder, all gone. You can't tell me they lose 4 out of their 5 best players and they're not in rebuild mode and they're not going to be a low seed like this. 14 Sacramento Kings. Losing Bogdan, not knowing what you're going to get out of Buddy. Is Marvin Bagley actually going to be healthy? All questions that I actually have for Sacramento. 13, the Timberwolves. Yes, they're going to get better, but unfortunately, there are a lot of really good teams in the West. They're going to continue to get better. 12, man. I'm pausing on this because it's the San Antonio Spurs.
I know it's so weird to say that. For most of our life, they've been like a lock to be in the playoffs and almost a title contender.
Yes, and I love the drafting of Devin Vassell for them. Love it. I just think they need to move.
Don't you be disrespectful.
Move on from what?
Don't you be disrespectful.
What am I being disrespectful for?
Don't you be disrespectful.
I love Devin Vassell.
I'm not talking about Devin Vassell.
Oh, well, I know what you're going to say. Okay, I like the drafting of Trey Jones.
Thank you. We're good.
But they need to move on from DeRozan and Aldridge, get off their contracts, kind of rebuild. San Antonio really doesn't have to go on a full-out rebuild. You've got Derek White, you've got DeJounte Murray. You just need a couple of picks here and there, and San Antonio can get back to where they are. 11, the New Orleans Pelicans. You add Kyra Lewis, you add Steven Adams, you add Eric Bledsoe, lose Drew Holiday, lose Derek Favors. Again, a lot of really good teams in the Western Conference, unfortunately, for the Pelicans. 10, the Memphis Grizzlies. They add Desmond Bane, who I think is going to eventually be the starting shooting guard for them next to John Morant. Perfect 3-and-D type player to put next to John Morant. And now to my biggest hot take of my NBA preview. Les, are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Number 9. I'm here too. No, because you already know what it is. I've told you. Number 9, and out of the playoffs, I have the Golden State Warriors.
What?
I have the Warriors missing the playoffs this year. There are a lot. I have a lot of talented teams in the Western Conference. Not having Klay Thompson, a declining Draymond Green. Yes, Kelly Oubre. Yes, James Wiseman is nice. James Wiseman is not going to walk into this league and give you 22 and 13 every night. Steph Curry is who can I rely on to be my second option outside of Steph Curry? I don't know if that can be Wiggins. Oubre shows flashes at times, but I don't know if I can trust that on a consistent every night basis.
I think you expected this to be a much more hot take than what we actually did because
it started off until you looked at your standings. It started off that way.
No.
It started off that way until you.
No, I grabbed my standings because I'm ready to have mine whenever you're done. But no,
I have the Golden State Warriors on the outside looking in. I don't know who their second option is, and that's.
I had to be a little dramatic, but no, it's not really a hot take. But
8. Oh well, Mari thought it was a hot take. He said, "Oh, how can we have Stephen Curry healthy and missing the playoffs?" Number 8. One of the winners of the offseason, the Phoenix Suns, are the first playoff team I have in. Sitting at the 8 seed, you add Chris Paul, you add Jalen Smith. I like Jalen Smith. Again, let me repeat this. I like Jalen Smith. I just don't like where he was drafted. You could have traded down and got him still. Didn't have to use the 10 spot.
He doesn't like Jalen Smith.
So
I'm keeping the same energy he has with me and Cade. and a lot of
You
players.
lose Rubio, you lose Oubre. I like a potential lineup of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and DeAndre Ayton, Jalen Smith coming off the bench. And I really like what Phoenix has done. 7, I have the Utah Jazz. One of the losers of the offseason because you failed to meet what you absolutely need every year in the offseason. You need a stretch 4 to put next to Rudy Gobert. And what do? You go out and re-sign, and I say re-sign because he was on the team just 2 years ago. You re-sign Derek Favors. Why do you draft Azubuike and re-sign Derek Favors? Doesn't make sense. But because you have Mike Conley, because you have Rudy Gobert, because you have Donovan Mitchell, you're going to make the playoffs. 6.
You had them
I
as
have
a
the
7 seed?
Yes. 6, I have the Portland Trailblazers. I think the addition of Robert Covington was a great addition. It's exactly at the 3 spot what Portland needs. He's the perfect perimeter defender to put next to C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. You get a healthy Nurkic for a whole year. I really like the Portland Trailblazers. Number 5, and I debated back and forth between my 4 seed and my 5 seed. So, my 5 seed is the Dallas Mavericks. And keep in mind, from my top 6 up, starting with Portland, I have them. They could win anywhere after 50 games. 5 out of the Dallas Mavericks. You add Josh Richardson, Tyrell Terry, Tyler Bay, Josh Green. Dallas is reloaded. So I really like that. I really like the Mavericks. Obviously, Luka, to me, is my favorite to win the MVP this year. So yeah, and the Dallas Mavericks at 5. Number 4, I have the Houston Rockets. Again, trading John Wall for Russell Westbrook does not change what the Rockets do at all. They're essentially the similar type player, except John Wall has a higher basketball IQ and is a better defender. So I don't think it really changes anything. They add DeMarcus Cousins. They add Christian Wood. They have John Wall. You lose Russell Westbrook. The Rockets are still going to be a great regular season team to me because they have James Harden. Number 3, it's that team in the basement, the LA Clippers. You lose Montrezl Harrell, but you add Luke Kennard. You lost kind of your energy off the bench. Yes, you still have Lou Will. I like a Clippers lineup potentially if you were to slide Paul George back to the 3 spot, move Kawhi to a stretch 4 position kind of, and run lineups of Patrick Beverly, Luke Kennard, Paul George, Kawhi, and then Zubac.
I actually like that lineup a lot. That's actually a pretty sick lineup.
Didn't they start Ibaka?
Huh? Oh, well, okay, sorry. Ibaka at the 5. I forgot all about Ibaka. So put Ibaka at the 5. You're getting still your defense. You get your stretch. You get your 3-point shooting still with Kennard. Obviously, Paul George, Kawhi, and Ibaka. And then you still get to keep Lou Will off the bench. My question is just outside of Lou Will coming off the bench, who else is providing scoring now that Montrezl Harrell isn't there? Number 2, I have the Denver Nuggets. You lose Jeremy Grant, who I thought they should have kept over Paul Millsap. But not my choice. You add R.J. Hampton, who's another good ball handler. Can give Jamal Murray some significant time to be able to rest on the bench, and you can trust for R.J. Hampton to be in the game along with Monty Morris. I think an underrated, coming back off his injury, Gary Harris didn't play bad in the postseason last year. He didn't shoot it the greatest, but he didn't play bad. And they needed that perimeter defense, and he gave them such a huge spark last year in the playoffs. And number 1, hey, to quote my man Shannon Sharp, Serge Ibaka, Chewbacca, Waka Flocka, doesn't matter. Lakers in 5. The Lakers.
Waka Flocka.
Waka Flocka.
The Los Angeles Lakers,
Bricks.
the 1 seed in the West. I don't know. there's not a whole lot of teams that win the championship and get better in the offseason. And significantly better at that. They add Dennis Schroeder. Okay, first of all, you lose Danny Green and you lose Avery Bradley, but you add Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, Wesley Matthews. Whether Kyle Kuzma takes another leap like LeBron claims he does, or if they trade him and get another piece. The Lakers are set. They're going to run, I would say they probably run a lineup of Schroeder at the 1, probably KCP at the 2 because he's the vet there now that's been there. LeBron at the 3, AD at the 4, and then Marc Gasol at the 5. With Montrezl Harrell coming off your bench, Wesley Matthews coming off your bench, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso. Lakers team has got depth. They've got the star power. They've got it all to repeat as your NBA champions and for LeBron to get ring number 5.
So I think your Houston Rockets take was a little hotter than your Golden State Warriors take, but I'll get to why here in a minute. Reason I do not, before I get started with my 8, I will say I do not have the Houston Rockets in the postseason. Reason being, they lose one of their better perimeter defenders in Robert Covington. Mike D'Antoni's out at Houston. James Harden's going to be James Harden. He's going to get his numbers, yada, 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 cool, whatever. What are we getting out of John Wall? He hasn't played in 2 years. What are we getting out of DeMarcus Cousins? Hasn't been able to stay healthy since he went to Golden State, really since New Orleans. And I'm going to be honest, DeMarcus Cousins can't play defense, is not a good defender. Analytically, even when he was an all-star, was one of the worst relative big men in the league on the defensive side of the ball. He can space the floor, yeah, sure. Hasn't played in a while. What are we getting out of him? Too many question marks for the Houston Rockets for me to actually pick them going into the postseason. However, without further ado, here is my 8. Starting with number 8, I have the New Orleans Pelicans. I think we get a healthier, lighter version of Zion Williamson. We get another year with Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram. I think they take the next step and get to the playoffs this year. Number 7, I have the Utah Jazz. Much like you said, you have Mike Conley, you have Donovan Mitchell, you have Rudy Gobert, you're going to make the playoffs. But they had one of the worst off seasons of any team, not just in the Western Conference, but in the NBA. Terrible draft. They bring back Derek Favors. Why? I don't know. Anyways, number 6, I have the Phoenix Suns. I think we saw what I have him as high as 6 because I think we saw what he did last year, what Chris Paul did in Oklahoma City last year, making them as high as they were. Now you give him Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. You also have a lineup with Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson. I think Phoenix could definitely slide into that 6th spot. Number 5, I have the Portland Trailblazers. Definitely a team that's finished in a lower seed usually most of the year, but you have Dame and CJ in the postseason. They usually make some kind of run usually. They just happen to run into the eventual champs in the first round this past year. I think you add Nurkic is back, supposedly healthy, looked good in his return. You add Robert Covington, a very good defender. And off the bench, I really like the way Gary Trent Jr. played in the bubble last season. I think he carries that over this season.
So here's my question, like while we're on Portland.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, for the starting lineup for Portland, Dame, CJ, obviously 1 and 2. I have Covington at the 3, Melo at the 4,
Mm-hmm.
and Nurkic at the 5. How do you feel about that?
No, that's the lineup I would run.
Because I thought Melo really finally took that step that we've been wanting him to take ever since he went back to when he went to OKC, where we've been saying this guy needs to take that 3rd, 4th option, play the 4, play the stretch 4, and he was never for it. Gets to Portland last year, he does it finally, and he's flourishing in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think given just his age and getting older, there are going to be times where he takes maybe a game off or 2, and that's where they plug in Zach Collins at the 4 position. But No, I have no problem with that lineup at all. I think in the postseason, that's the lineup they're going to run.
I just wanted to get your take on that. That was it.
No, okay. So where am I? Number 4?
Yep.
Number 4, I have the LA Clippers. You lose Doc Rivers. You lose a big part of your bench. You do bring in Luke Kennard. But in a lot of ways, that bench is what made them as relevant as they were, even before Paul George and Kawhi Leonard came to town. So number 3, I have the Dallas Mavericks, led by also my MVP favorite, Luka Doncic. I think they just have a good year, and they're at the 30 spot. 2 and 1, I have the exactly same as you. I have the Nuggets, the team full of unicorns. You add R.J. Hampton. You still have Jokic. Murray took the next step in the postseason. And then obviously the Lakers. It's very rarely that you see a team win a championship and arguably get better. You add bench
significantly better at that.
I know it's crazy. So shout out to Rob Pelinka and shout out to GM James on that, I guess. But yeah, those are my 8. So I guess moving forward to the award races, I think me and Klucas definitely agree that Luka Doncic is going to win the MVP this year. Mari, what are your thoughts on that? First of all, we can't even see you.
Oh.
No, like sit up in your chair. Thank you. I'm literally just seeing your hair. That's it.
I can see why you guys would say Luka's MVP, but I always find it hard to predict the MVP. But
isn't that what makes it fun?
Yeah, man. I mean, I hate being wrong. So. But I'm not gonna cap to you. I would not be surprised if they try to give it to Giannis again.
I think Giannis is going to be heavily scrutinized even more now in the MVP voting because he's won the last 2 and not gone anywhere in the postseason. So I think they're going to be more skeptical to give it to him.
How about this? We've given our MVP predictions, but here's a dark horse MVP. All right.
Okay, I'm waiting.
With kind of like what we talked about when we talked about with the additions of a new coach, new pieces around him. Dark horse MVP is Ben Simmons.
I'm here for it because he's got perimeter shooting and Joel Embiid to space the floor for him to drive and to kick out. Yeah, I like it.
So, who's your rookie of the year?
LeBron James.
LeBron is never a dark horse in any MVP race.
But I'm saying
nobody really arguably win it every year.
Nobody's gonna talk about it until the end of the season.
The LeBron James effect.
Basically,
I feel like people it became kind of like the Jordan effect where people got tired of trying to vote for him every year. And I think one of these years before whenever it does have it start to regress, I think one of these years and these last couple of years, they're going to almost have to give him an MVP award for all the years that they've screwed him out of one. All right, so rookie of the year.
Are you wanting me to go first or are you wanting to go first?
I mean, whoever wants to go first.
I have LaMelo Ball. I think he's got the game and he's got the brand to get the attention all season long. I think he's got it. And I have the Hornets sneaking into the playoffs, so that's definitely going to help his resume. And kind of like what you alluded to in our NBA draft segment, I think he's going to have a very respectable stat line.
And he's got the household name going for him too.
So I said the brand.
I believe
kind of what the brand means.
Mari?
James Wiseman is going to win the Rookie of the Year. I say that because he's stepping into a bigger role than most of these other draftees because talking about a team that needs a fucking big. And I do have them making the playoffs, so I think that'll also help his case. Knowing that he's part of that starting 5 that did it.
All right. So let's do defensive player of the year.
Well, you never gave yours.
Oh, sorry, LaMelo Ball. That's what I'm
Okay.
going with.
Defensive player of the year, I have Bam Adebayo. I mean, this is a guy that starred in the postseason on the defensive side of the ball. I think he even takes the next step this year. So, a little bit of a homer pick, about 10%, but no, I like Bam to win Defensive Player of the Year. This is a guy that can defend the perimeter and the interior.
That's fine because mine's kind of a little bit of a homer pick. I got Anthony Davis winning it.
It was between Bam and AD for me, but I went with Bam.
I think getting narrowed out of it last year between him and Giannis, with not as much of an offensive workload he's going to have this year. I think he's going to have a bit more energy for the defensive side. I'm going to go Anthony Davis, Defensive Player of the Year.
Mari?
I'm going to skip mine. You guys go ahead.
You can't skip it.
How are you skipping?
I just did. You play Uno? I put the red skip out.
No, you didn't. No, you're not skipping. Who is your Defensive Player of the Year?
I want to say Rudy Gobert, just because he's one of my favorite defensive guys. I do think he's top 5 in the
He
front.
did shut down the entire league.
He did. I mean, he should have won it last year for exactly shutting down the entire league.
I'm gonna say Rudy Gobert.
There you go. That wasn't so hard. That's a good pick.
I don't want to say it, and this bitch plays terrible.
Don't be afraid to be wrong. Just trust your gut.
All right, so the
best analysts in the world are wrong a lot. Stephen A. Smith went 7 consecutive years picking the wrong team to win the title while we already had the matchup. Not preseason, not midseason. No, when we got to the NBA Finals, Stephen A. Smith, and this man is getting paid, and this man is the richest. This man is the richest analyst on ESPN. He was wrong for 7 consecutive years on the NBA Finals on who was going to win.
This is true. So, 6th man of the year.
6th man of the year. You're going to disagree with me because I was reading a lot of different NBA talk, and from the looks of things, Dennis Schroeder is going to come off the bench in LA from what I've been reading. So, with that being said, Dennis Schroeder is my 6th man of the year.
Maury?
See, I'm sticking with the same team, kind of for the same reason, because I see a lot of fans thinking or saying that Harrell's in a lot of like just 2018 till now fucking LA fans saying Montrez is in the starting 5, and I'm like, no, that dude's coming off the bench, and he's gonna be great off the fucking bench. So that's my 6th man of the year. Montrez Harrell going back to back.
Yeah, I got Montrezl Harrell winning it. But I can also see, depending on what kind of lineup they put out, I would not be shocked if Lonzo Ball or Eric Bledsoe win 6th man of the year as well. Depending on what kind of lineup the Pelicans want to put out. So, all right, last of the awards, Coach of the Year.
We still have 2 more awards, Coach of the Year and then Most Improved Player.
Oh, sorry, Most Improved. Sorry, so Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year, I have Eric Spoelstra. I have the Heat finishing in the first place in the Eastern Conference. I think coming off the title run a year ago, I think momentum favors him. So I have Eric Spoelstra winning Coach of the Year.
So I have a question. Does Coach of the Year, does your team have to be like the 1 seed or anything like that?
Not necessarily.
They have to be good. Like you
definitely have to be good, but you have to stand out in some way, shape, or form.
Like I can't say, okay, the Spurs are playing in a loaded West, but they played good. So Greg Popovich is my Coach of the Year, even in they're the 12 seed in the West.
No, you still gotta be respectable, but like if you're gonna be a mid-tier,
I would say you have to be top 5 in your conference. That's what I would probably say.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys are gonna hate me, but I'm gonna give it to Steve Kerr.
That's fine. I'm
That's not why I hate you.
I'm torn between two. I think it'll either go to Frank Vogel or Steve Nash.
I see Frank Vogel before Steve Nash, but that's just my opinion. I'm going to ask Maury this. Do you have the Warriors making the playoffs? I'm assuming because you never gave your standings, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, I do. I thought I said that when Klucas was talking.
He has them not only making the playoffs, but he has them as a top 4, top 5 team in the West.
I mean, with Clay out, Draymond, you don't know what you're getting from him. A rookie Wiseman. I mean, kind of like what Klucas said, who's going to be that second scoring option?
And then my other thing I told Maury is outside of Eric Pascal, who's coming off that bench?
And here's my thing too. They're also playing in the West. That's why I'm questionable about it. If they were in the East, I'd be very comfortable with them. But yeah, I think they definitely make the playoffs in the East. But
and most improved player of the year.
Most improved, I have Lonzo Ball. I think he's taken strides I think he's one of the better defending guards in the NBA, and I think he's made strides with his three-point shot. Another year playing next to Zion, building chemistry will improve his assist numbers, so I got him.
Maury?
Shit.
See, this is why I say read the group chat. Not so that you know what we're talking about when you want to get on, but so that you have time to think about it.
It's like I almost said Zion, but I backtracked because the guy only played like 17 and a half games. But I'm going to give it to – yeah, I was going to say Marcus Smart, but then I was like, no, he's going to play the exact same way. I'll give it – I'm not a big fan of him like I used to be, but I'm going to give it to Draymond.
Got high hopes for the Warriors.
Yeah, I really do.
I'm giving it to John Wall.
Oh, and hold on. Time out. A lot of people forget. If you know me for like more than like 10 years, you'll know that I was a Warriors fan before I was a Celtics fan. Like a team.
So you switched to the Celtics as soon as the Warriors got good. That's hilarious to me. You were the opposite of a bandwagon. I respect it.
All right, I got John Wall. I think after not playing for 2 years, I think he's able to come back and put up similar numbers to what he was. I think especially now in Houston, he's going to come back. I think he's going to put up anywhere between 16 and 19 points per game. He's still going to give you the 8, 9, 10 assists a game he was giving you before. And then the defensive side of the ball, I think, is still going to be there. If you've seen the videos of John Wall since he's been, medically cleared to return, he's obviously not as athletic as he was, but he is still very athletic. He's still going to have the defensive side of the ball going for him. And I think just not playing basketball for 2 years, come back, average 17, 18 points per game, and still the 9, 10 assists is going to be enough for him to win Most Improved Player this year.
I would respect that more if the NBA had more like a comeback player of the year type award, and that being said, I think that's what John Wall would definitely win by far, either him or Kevin Durant, depending on which one they want to give it to. But they have a most improved player, and usually how they grade it is they grade it on a player that took steps to improve their game, not really return. So that's why I would debate that. But all right, those are our picks.
And up NBA Finals. I know who Mari's picking. I don't even want to hear him say it. So NBA Finals prediction.
Who am I picking?
Here we go. Oh, it's going to be the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers. And it's going to be that bad man Kevin Durant winning another NBA Finals. Shut up.
Guess
He's
what?
going to hit a three right in LeBron's face, just like you see my wallpaper. You see my wallpaper? You can see my wallpaper. Hey, you can see my wallpaper, but you can't see my stomach. You can't see my stomach.
There you go. I'm gonna go ahead and go first then, right? It's going to be the LA Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets. That bad man Kevin Durant is going through the East. He's going. Hey, you see my wallpaper? You see my wallpaper? He gonna do it again. Hitting the three in his face. He's a bad man. Let me tell you something. Achilles injury, that ain't no match for the GOAT. Hey, Klucas, you know what Kevin's eating? Grass. Because he's the GOAT. Kevin Durant is coming. Hold on. You see my stomach? See my stomach?
Yes,
I
can.
I can't. God damn it. All right, your turn. Go ahead.
I'm going to share that clip so that we get more viewers. I think that's going to get a lot of attention. I mean, that part where he goes, Klucas, he eating grass. Bah, it killed me out. So, all right. My finals prediction, I have the Lakers back in the finals against Philadelphia 76ers. I think new coach, spacing for Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, I think this is the year they take the next step. I think the Heat do suffer a little bit of a championship hangover this year in the postseason. But I don't agree with what Maury says about him. So, no, sir, not so fast. But
Well, who do you have beating the Brooklyn Nets if you don't think the Nets are going to make it?
well, I wasn't even talking about the Nets. I was talking about the Heat. One.
I'm retarded. I'm sorry. As you said,
Hey, shit, y'all got chill on that word, bro. But
like you said, the Lakers and Sixers are going to the finals.
They are. That's what I said. I said I don't agree with you about the Heat being a.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's what I don't. That's what I said. I don't agree with. I didn't talk about the Nets. No, I'm still not as high on the Nets as I am, like a lot of people are. But I think the Heat have a championship run hangover to where they don't go back to the finals this year, but they could still potentially contend year in and year out. Besides, I have them at the 1 seed, so we've seen how a lot of 1 seeds in the East really have panned out the last couple years. Usually don't get to the finals. So I have the Lakers and Sixers. I really wish Serge Ibaka was on the Sixers so I could just repeat what Klucas says, but he's not. So I got Lakers in 5.
All right. So NBA Finals. I've got obviously the Los Angeles Lakers coming out the Western Conference. I don't see any team really in the West in a 7-game series that can defeat a LeBron and AD Lakers team in a 7-game series. In the Eastern Conference, now this one I really had to think about because you look at Brooklyn and you say, okay, if Katie and Kyrie return and are fully healthy, back to playing like normal, then they're probably the prohibit favorite. But we don't know that for a fact. I don't trust Milwaukee and Giannis in the playoffs. I don't know if the Boston Celtics are still ready yet to take that next leap without a big man. So I, like Les, I'm picking the Philadelphia 76ers even as the 6th seed in my conference. I think they make a run. I think Embiid and Simmons gel at the right time in the playoffs. I'm looking at the shooting they added. I'm looking at everything. You've got championship DNA there, even with Dwight Howard. When you take Joel Embiid out, you can trust that you're still going to get the same effort on defense as Joel Embiid with Dwight Howard. I just really like the moves that Philadelphia made this offseason. And I think, like I said, Simmons is my dark horse MVP. Luka's my pick, but Simmons is my dark horse pick. And so I have the Philadelphia 76ers making it to the finals to set up LeBron versus Ben Simmons, AD versus Joel Embiid. And it doesn't matter.
That'd be a great finals.
Lakers in 5 over Philadelphia.
You guys something's wrong with you guys if you guys think like the 76ers are making the finals.
Well, we just gave you very good reasons on why they would make it.
I disagree.
That's okay.
talking about the Sixers who can't make it past. God, I love my team. They can't make it past fucking Boston. If they see Boston, then what? They're gonna get swept again.
Okay, so let's nix something here. So they couldn't beat Boston before because Boston had Al Horford, who was considered the Joel Embiid stopper. Horford's not in Boston. The only reason, let's be completely honest, the only reason why Boston completely swept the Philadelphia 76ers in this year's playoffs is because Ben Simmons didn't even play. If you go and look at a lot of those games that were close games, even in the sweeps, if Ben Simmons plays, Philadelphia probably beats Boston in a 7-game series.
No fucking way.
I don't know if they would have beaten Boston last year in a 7-game series, but they sure as hell wouldn't have got swept.
Because you didn't say that. Tell me you didn't just say that.
I think you did, Maury. You should get him.
No.
And now I'm adding the perimeter shooting that they needed. I'm adding bench scoring with guys like Tyrese Maxey and them coming off the bench. Yeah, I'm picking the Philadelphia. Seth Curry was the most underrated free agent signing of the offseason.
Yeah, without question.
If Philly sees us.
Oh, and the fact that they have Danny Green, too. Let's not forget that they have Danny Green.
Oh, yeah, because somebody really fears Danny fucking Green. No.
I'm just saying Danny Green has made the finals the last, 3 years almost? 2 years?
Yeah,
3 years?
He was like the fucking driving force of those finals teams.
It doesn't matter. He plays a pivotal role in those teams.
Well, that's cute. Guess what? They're still not making it past Boston. Guess what? We got better too. Like, the fuck? Come on now.
Okay. Hold on before anybody continues. Maury, answer this question, yes or no. Did Boston address their biggest need this offseason?
Yes, we did. Yes, we
what?
did. We got a big. We got Tristan Thompson. Granted, a couple of days before, I shitted on him. But I don't see – there's no – I prefer him.
Are you trusting in a 7-game series Tristan Thompson to stop Joel Embiid?
Or even contain him slightly?
I'm like – I'm mishearing the question. You say contain him.
Are you trusting Tristan Thompson in a 7-game series to contain Joel Embiid? So contain meaning he's maybe right at his average or slightly under.
I trust Tristan Thompson to slow Embiid down. I still expect Embiid to get his number.
You're crazy out of your mind.
Like Embiid last year.
Tristan Thompson
just like last
slow down his own shadow.
When that was a good one, I ain't gonna cap. When Embiid had his chance to show what he can do without Ben, he choked.
With what pieces next to him?
Well, guess what? If they want smoke again, we'll get them again. We'll get them again. I trust Tristan over fucking Baines to fucking stop – not Baines. Dice to stop Embiid. I'm not saying we have to stop Embiid because there's been plenty of playoff series where Embiid's put up 30 and 10 on us or 30 and 15 and we still kick his fucking ass with Ben Simmons still there.
This is a completely different team.
That's fine, bro. That's fine. Guess what? So are we.
The fact that – here's my thing.
You all are the same damn team that you were last year.
No, we are not.
The same damn team that couldn't stop Bam Adebayo in the paint to save their life.
Here's my thing. We saw how well Ben Simmons was able to get to the rack
first of all, guess who's guarding?
Hold on. I'm not done. It is my turn. My turn. Without a lot of perimeter shooting around him, now you have it. Now how well you think he's going to get to the rack. And even if you want to contain the paint, let's leave Seth Curry out on the perimeter. That's a great idea. I mean, you might be able to get away with leaving Danny Green out in the perimeter every now and again, but no, not with Seth Curry, not with Tyrese Maxey and all the other shooters that Philly brought in. Not to mention they're much better coached this year than they were in the years past.
Not to mention that we haven't even talked about that. They still have Matisse Thybulle, who as a rookie became one of the best perimeter defenders in the league and became a very, very good three-point shooter.
Exactly.
Philly does not want the smoke. That's all I'm going to say. And I trust Tristan to fuck with Bam more than fucking anybody else on our fucking roster. Whoa, we still got Robert fucking Williams out there for crying out loud.
Oh, the guy that can't even show up to practice or do anything?
Yeah,
Wow,
he can't even show up on time. He has bad clock management skills. That's very unprofessional.
And I'm sorry, and kind of like you just talked about with Aiden Agayon with Louisville. Every time I see Robert Williams checks in the game, he checks in and checks right out because he's got 3 fouls as soon as he checks in.
Yeah.
New season.
Exactly. New season for Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay. We gonna see. New
regime.
We gonna see. And when Philly gets eliminated first round by either
Doc Rivers.
Then I don't.
Doc Rivers.
Both.
Doc Rivers, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Matisse Thybulle, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris.
We gonna see. And when they get eliminated early, I want an apology from both of you.
And when they make the finals or since you want to say early, when they don't get bounced early, we want an apology from you.
Well, you're not going to get it because it's not going to happen.
Okay, well, you're not going to get one from us because them getting eliminated early is not going to happen.
They're going to get eliminated. They're just not good enough to succeed. They're choke artists. You guys hyped this Ben Simmons up so fucking much.
So I got a question. So if Philly is choke artists, what is Boston considering they've made the Eastern Conference Finals 2 times in 3 years and has yet to make the finals? And choke.
Make it to the conference finals.
And choke.
I have another question for Mari. Are you still upset that Ben Simmons won Rookie of the Year over Donovan Mitchell?
I wasn't upset by it because I saw it coming. This dude could have fucking tore his ACL with 20 games left, and they still would have gave it to Ben. The triple doubles just helped him a lot.
Or the fact that they won 23 more games than the previous season.
And the fact
that the Utah Jazz didn't really lose anything in wins or losses.
Yeah, they actually lost 3 more games than they did this season before.
Right, whatever. So what I'm saying is I do disagree with the fact that I do feel like if you have already had a season in the NBA, regardless if you played or not, you're no longer a rookie. I do agree with that statement. Embiid had 3 fucking seasons in the NBA, and then he was considered a rookie his 4th season? Come on now.
He never played.
I disagree with that.
He never played.
I don't give a shit.
He never played. That is the definition. And I gotta say, while you're on that topic, that was the dumbest advertising move I have ever seen in my life. When Donovan Mitchell shows up to a game wearing a hoodie, with the definition of rookie on it, and I was like, Don, you're trolling people saying that Ben's not a rookie, but as you're wearing a hoodie with the definition of Ben Simmons on your freaking hoodie. Like, y'all can't be that stupid. And then Louisville fans would try to troll me on the sports page and say, with the picture of it, and I'm like, dude, y'all can't be that. And, like, my patented statement that I always say on social media that I've gotten away from because I'm not that mean anymore. I've gotten older, and I'm trying to watch my blood pressure. My patented statement, there's no way you're this dumb. I would say that a lot, and that's how I felt. Because they're trying to troll saying that Ben Simmons is not a rookie. And they're like, oh, look at this. See, Donovan Mitchell's getting into the act. It's like, no, Donovan Mitchell is literally apparently not smart enough to realize that his shirt describes Ben Simmons.
I know. That is not fair. Like, this dude had –
Life's not fair. Get over it.
In the NBA. This dude –
Nobody said anything when Blake Griffin took John Wall's Rookie of the Year.
Exactly. And I didn't have a problem with it either.
Anyways, I don't remember.
Blake deserved it.
Was that the season that he was just posterizing everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't win you Rookie of the Year, but whatever. I think
it's the exact same situation as Ben Simmons. It's the exact same situation as Ben Simmons.
I'll give it to Simmons. He had a great year that year. I think he had maybe 8 triple doubles. He had a great fucking year, but I will not consider him a rookie that year.
But you just said you'd consider Blake a rookie.
I didn't say I consider Blake a rookie. I just said that doesn't. If y'all, whoa! I'm saying is even if that was his first year, that doesn't win you Rookie of the Year. That's what I said. Dunking on people does not win you Rookie of the Year. It gets you a sponsorship by a car and a dunk contest. That's it. I personally don't remember John Wall's rookie year. I think that was around the time I was just getting into the NBA. I think that was when I was just seeing Blake and just dunking on everybody. I didn't know he wasn't technically a rookie that year. I didn't know that. I thought that was legit his first year in the NBA. So yeah, my statement still stands. Blake's not a rookie. Once you
Nobody
get
said
drafted,
anything when David Robinson did it either.
Mm-hmm.
okay, I don't think I was even thought of when David Robinson was playing in the NBA. All I'm saying is,
what year were you born?
I was born in '98.
He stopped playing in 2003. So yeah,
Well, he said a rookie, so
you said when he was playing in the you weren't even thought of when he was playing in the NBA.
Alrighty, so anyways,
statement-
you don't agree, whatever. But you know what you do have to call him? You have to call him Rookie of the Year because that's what he was.
Anyways, it's time we get to Klucas's favorite segment of the week. His
And if you ask Mari, this is the best segment of the show, according to him.
Well, Mari, I'm glad you feel that way because that is what we are getting into right now. But before we do that, shout out to Bijan Robinson having his breakout game in a Texas uniform. Hook 'em horns. 5-star running back. I like it. Wish it would have happened earlier in the season.
Y'all managed to keep a 5-star? He didn't decommit or transfer?
No. All right. Klucas, are you ready for your pick 'ems?
I am as ready as I will ever be.
Is it your turn?
It's my turn now. It is my turn. So, NFL kind of a little bit scheduling wise kind of screwy this week due to Steelers and Ravens having to play on Wednesday, which was the greatest thing ever because completely forgetting that the Pittsburgh Steelers were even on TV this week was probably the best thing I had going for me all week. So Sunday, 1:00, Spurs game, Saints on the road against the Falcons.
Taysom Hill's been a lot better at the quarterback position than I expected. Much like the last matchup a couple weeks ago, I like the Saints to beat the choke artists in Atlanta.
Mari?
I will also give it to the Saints, even though I want to say Falcons, just because I don't know why I can't remember who the fuck they blew out last week. But I knew they like completely threw me off.
I can tell you because they blew out the Raiders 43-6.
Yeah, that's the Atlanta team that I love to see.
I also want to throw out there
Which, by the way, I went 12-4 last week in my pick'ems.
And I just want to throw out there, the Saints are undefeated in the last 2 seasons when Drew Brees doesn't play.
You know what, Les? I said that at work. I said we cannot cap on the fact that when he's out, the team gets better. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's the comfortability or what.
I don't know if they get.
You know why? You know why? It has nothing to do with Drew Brees' greatness. Has nothing to do with it. It just has to do with when Drew Brees goes out, the younger, more mobile quarterback comes in that fits today's style of game, and it opens up the Saints' offense completely.
I think it has also more to do with that they play an easier part of their schedule and the fact that they are just a well-rounded team in general. I think that's more or less where I was going with it. But no, Drew Brees' absence does not impact my picks for the Saints at all.
So, yep, give me the Saints over the Falcons, 28-17 in this one. Taysom Hill has definitely played extremely well, and if I'm Jameis Winston, I'm already considering where I'm going to next year. Colts at Texans in T.Y. Hilton Stadium.
You said it best. It's T.Y. Hilton Stadium.
It better be his fucking stadium. Or
I got the Colts.
I also have the Colts, baby.
Yep, give me the Colts on a bounce-back week, 33-21 over the Houston Texans. Browns at Titans.
I think this is where the Browns train kind of gets halted. The Titans are playing really well right now. You got 2 teams that play a very similar style, defense and ground and pound. Titans, I think, do have a little bit better of a defense so they can slow down Chubb and Hunt enough. And I like the Titans in this matchup.
I like the Titans too, but not by a lot. I think it'll be a close game from start to finish.
So I think we can all agree that the Browns, now granted we know because we pay attention, but the Browns have been quietly very good this year.
I've said that. They don't win pretty, but they win.
They're not making a lot of noise, but they're winning.
They're second.
And
They're ahead of Baltimore in the AFC.
I think this is the week that the national media starts to finally take attention that the Browns are playing very good. Because I've got the Browns beating the Titans 28-20 this week.
You know, I'd love to see it.
I need an apology from Colin Cowherd about Baker Mayfield.
Oh, say it again. Say it again.
I need an apology from Colin Cowherd about Baker Mayfield. No. Okay. Is he maybe the number one pick that went in that draft? No. Is he a great franchise level changing quarterback? No. But to me, Baker Mayfield is on the level playing field of a Kirk Cousins, an Alex Smith, a Matthew Stafford, where they're not that franchise type quarterback, but they are a good enough starting quarterback to, if you put the right pieces around them, that could go to the Super Bowl.
Okay, I don't know about that last piece, last part, but I will say that the Browns will be the reason why. And I hate saying this, you know, I love you, Nana, so much, but the Browns will be the reason why the Ravens don't make the playoffs this year.
So give me the Browns over the Titans, 28-20 in this one. Bengals at Dolphins.
I like the Dolphins to have a bounce back week.
Same.
Not especially with the. Didn't they lose their first game, or was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, they lost 2 weeks ago. They won last week.
Okay, I got my weeks mixed up, but either way, that doesn't change my pick. I like the Dolphins to beat the Joe Burrow-less Bengals.
Yeah, give me the Dolphins. I got a Dolphins fan that I have at work. And he keeps me updated with all the Dolphins stuff. He's like, well, Tua's a game time decision. I tell him, Ryan Fitzpatrick or Tua, doesn't matter. Dolphins should handle the Bengals this week. I got them winning 30-13. Jaguars in Minnesota against the Vikings.
Minnesota. Hike.
Okay, so I'm taking Marty's taking Minnesota off that. Les?
I don't know what that was.
It's my candidates when I play football. I always scream Minnesota.
Les?
I picked Minnesota.
Oh, I didn't hear you. My bad.
So, yeah, I picked Minnesota.
Yeah, give me the Vikings. Jaguars, obviously struggling team. Vikings seem to have found their stride on offense. I just wish they could find it on defense as well. 34-24, give me the Vikings. The Raiders at the Jets. And I'm going to start with this one before Mari takes it from me. That if there was a week the New York Football Jets could get a W, it could be this one. Raiders coming – I'm sorry, what?
I mean, they were close. They forced 3 turnovers in a row. It's just, you know, the offense.
They were close and a 20-3 loss?
But no, I'm saying is they forced 3 turnovers in that fourth quarter.
In his defense, that might be close for their standards.
So, if there was the Raiders coming off a 43-6 loss to the Falcons, if there was a week the New York Football Jets could get a W in their column, it could be this week.
Let's fucking go.
But I'm not picking them.
Oh,
give me the Raiders, 24-10.
You fucking asshole. That was good. That was a good one. I'm still picking the Jets.
24-10.
I'm picking the Jets. Jets, Jets. I actually have to get more Jets gear.
Oh, Les?
The Jets suck.
Where is my fucking shit? I don't know.
The Jets suck. Give me the Raiders. All right, Lions in Chicago against the Bears.
I'm gonna go with the Bears on this one. I think they have a very good defense. I have a lot of question marks about their offense, but Bears defense wins this game. Where the hell did Mari go?
Mari's disappeared.
Hope he's back.
Oh, there you are. Oh my God, this guy really went and put a Jets jersey on.
Where are the teams? I didn't hear them. I was getting on. Probably
Detroit and Chicago.
Oh.
Whose jersey is that, Mari?
Oh, you want to see it? What? Never mind. It's an LT jersey.
I'm impressed. I was expecting a really basic Darrelle Revis jersey. I'm not gonna lie.
LT is my favorite running back, probably one of the greatest running backs of all time. No big deal, but I will pick the Bears a lot.
I like LT too, Mari. He's a great running back. One of the best I've ever seen.
Again, not so fast. Give me the Lions in this one. 17-13. I do not trust the Chicago Bears offense whatsoever. 4:05 slated games. Rams in Arizona against the Cardinals.
This is a little tough for me, but I'm going to go with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals to get a win over Jared Goff and the Rams.
I agree. It's going to be – it's the 4-5 game, right? So I expect this game to go down to, like, the last drive, but I'll still roll with Arizona as well.
Again, not so fast. Give me the Rams. Arizona struggled the last couple weeks, and especially against good defenses. Rams have a good defense, and I think this does go down to the wire, but give me the Rams to win this one 24-23. Giants on the road against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks.
Seriously. I don't like betting against Russell Wilson enough as it is, especially against a garbage team like the Giants. Give me the Seahawks.
Everybody that plays in MetLife Stadium sucks.
Hey, the Giants are in the divisional lead for their division.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, the powerful NFC East.
Where any week if a team wins, they take over first place.
It's bad.
Yeah, give me the Seahawks, 35-17. 4:25, Eagles in Lambeau Field against the Packers.
Again, seriously, I mean, the Eagles have their struggles. This is a very good Packers team. This is an MVP candidate in Aaron Rodgers, who's playing at some of the best football of his career. Got to go with the Pack.
Yeah, go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go indeed. 38-20, give me the Packers over the Eagles. Patriots on the road in Hollywood against the LA Chargers.
It's another tough matchup for me though, but I'm gonna go with the Patriots to pull this one out.
I hate going right after Les because I keep finding myself agreeing with them, but I also go with the Patriots.
I agree in this one. The young Chargers scare me in close games, so give me the Patriots 26-17 over the Chargers. Sunday night football, what could have been a very good game had not been a lot of injuries for the Broncos. Broncos in Kansas City against the Chiefs.
I don't bet against Mahomes on this show, so
Wasn't Chiefs? Was that the team? The Broncos and Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Chiefs.
Give me the Chiefs 41-17 over the Denver Broncos. 2 Monday night football games this week. First one, the team with no name versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You know what? You know what? You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick the football team to win. That's what I'm going to do. I'm picking the fucking football team. That's my upset of the week. The football team is going to win.
You know what, Maury? I don't think it's as crazy as people think. The Steelers are coming off a short week. People are underestimating the football team, who also has a very good pass rusher and the very young and great Chase Young. With that being said, I am picking the Pittsburgh Steelers to stay undefeated.
I hate both of you guys. I really do. I hope you know that.
You know what, Maury?
The football team.
I kind of hate that you went first on that one because you kind of stole my thunder. Because I think the football team actually has a chance in this game. The football team has a very good defense, as do the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh at times struggles on offense. But give me the Steelers. 28-20 over the football team. Mainly because their quarterback is Ben Roethlisberger. The football team's quarterback is Alex Smith. And I trust Ben Roethlisberger just a little bit more. Second Monday night football game. Buffalo in San Francisco against the 49ers.
I got Buffalo in this matchup.
Same. I have Buffalo.
49ers, even without Jimmy Garoppolo, has played extremely well the last couple weeks. And even with all the injuries, even on the defense has played lights out the last couple weeks. I think Buffalo's going to struggle, but I still have the Bills winning 24-20 over the 49ers. And then finally, Tuesday night football. Yes, I said Tuesday night football, where thank God that these two teams are playing because I don't care to watch either one of them on TV anyway. The Dallas Cowboys and the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore.
I pray to God Baltimore bounces back because they are another loss away from not making the playoffs, in my opinion. And that is, you do not want to have the best record.
If the Baltimore Ravens lose to Andy Dalton, I don't think Bengals fans or anybody else is going to let that go.
Yeah, trust me. I know. And I want my Nana to, live through the week. So I pray to God the Ravens win. So going with the Ravens. I hope this is kind of like a tune-up game for them. I hope it is.
Well, yeah.
For all the viewers out there, my Nana's actually a Panthers fan. She just loves Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I definitely have to go with the Ravens. With or without, regarding everyone else's COVID status, I think their roster's still too good to lose to the sorry-ass Cowboys. So and they
possibly no Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
No Lamar Jackson. Several players out for COVID potentially in Baltimore. I've got the Ravens winning this one, 22-14. But you know who's going to be the MVP of this game?
Who that is?
It's going to be the TikTok legend Trace McSorley.
I don't know how. Yeah, sing the song, Klucas.
I don't know it exactly. But the TikTok legend, the Penn State legend Trace McSorley is going to end if Lamar doesn't play. Hey, in that game against Pittsburgh, he only had 2 throws, but one of them was a 70-yard dot to Hollywood Brown for a touchdown. So you can joke all you want about a TikTok legend, but maybe Trace McSorley really can ball because it already seems like he's got a better vertical game than Lamar Jackson. But
so hard.
But give me Trace McSorley and the Baltimore Ravens.
Very few high major recruiters looked at the 6 foot tall, 180-pounder and said,
So when he threw.
Just a kid from Briarwoods, I'm wearing number 9. And Coach Franklin down at Vandy, flipped to Happy Valley. Now I'm coming back and got the natty on my mind. They can't touch my deep ball. Every game I'm scoring. I'm your favorite quarterback. They call me Trace McSorley. Run that blue and white, I do it for the glory. Baker won the Heisman. Next up, Trace McSorley. Trace McSorley. They call me Trace McSorley.
So, anyways, when he threw that 70-yard dot to Hollywood Brown Wednesday, it broke Twitter apparently that hashtag throw it on a dime was the number one trending topic on Twitter.
It was.
So, give me Trace McSorley and the Baltimore Ravens, 22-14.
Mari didn't even budge throughout the entire song.
Hashtag throw it on a dime.
Throw it on a dime.
What?
I'm not budging. I don't know what counter reaction you're waiting on.
Touchdown, Trey Sermon. So
Pick 'em.
that's my NFL Pick Ems that's this week. Tampa and Carolina are on bye weeks this week.
What's your overall
And you know what? Just because for a surprise for Les, because I can, and I'm gonna throw it in there. Let's talk about how Les, for the 4th straight year, is probably going to miss the playoffs.
There's still a lot of time left.
I'm going there, bud.
There's a lot of
For
time
the
left.
4th straight year is probably going to – shout out to Matthew Spencer because he's probably going to miss the playoffs too. But shout out to the Fantasy Football League and that Les, whose ironically team name this year is Playoffs ? Is probably going to miss the playoffs for the 4th straight year.
This is probably, if I do miss the playoffs, this would be the most embarrassing year of all of them because I entered the season with the number 1 roster.
That's a fact. He did enter the year as after we did our draft, it puts out the little projections of who they think is going to finish where. My team was actually at the very bottom, and my team's going to make the playoffs. While Les was the preseason number 1 favorite to win the Fantasy Football League with guys like Travis Kelce, Nick Chubb, and Derrick Henry.
I don't have Travis Kelce.
Oh, sorry, you had George Kittle. That's who you had.
And that's one of the things that hurt me too. And you know what's also hurt me? Lamar's vertical passing game. Because I got guys like Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews on the team. And there are weeks – those are 2 talented players you don't want to sit week in and week out. But thanks to Lamar's –
has been scrapping off the waiver wire because everybody's either injured or out for COVID. And every week I've seen to find that one gem in the waiver wire that breaks out. Last week was Wayne Gallman for me.
Well, all right. I think that's all the time we have for today. Great show, boys. And as always, tell us in the comment section below what you liked, what you didn't like, and follow us on Twitter at Less is More Sports.
At Jacob Klucas.
It's Marxic14, MARXIC 14.
And also follow the Less is More Sports page on Facebook. But without further ado, I'm your host, Les Abbott.
Jacob Klucas.
Mari.
And we out.